Hello and welcome back to Whiskey Wars. My name is Sean and tonight we'll be reviewing High West Double Rye Straight Rye Whiskey. Let's get into it. Alright, so here's our bottle for today. It is High West Double Rye Straight Rye Whiskey, which is actually, as it says on the front here, a blend of straight rye whiskeys. And what that blend consists of is a blend of MGP's 95% rye, 5% malted barley rye mash bill, and then High West 80% rye, 20% malted rye whiskey. So they blend those two together in a ratio that no one is really quite certain of, and then they come up with this. So this is a very high rye mash bill for sure. It is only aged 2 years. Well, it's a combination of 7-year and 2-year stuff, but we don't know how much is 2-year and how much is 7-year. So nonetheless, it is a partially sourced product, but I do appreciate that High West is at least working towards becoming its own proper distillery. And hopefully, as their stuff gets older, we will see some interesting things in the future. But for now, let's work on this bottle here. One thing that is kind of interesting about High West is it says on the back here, High West is the world's only ski-in gastro distillery. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, don't live anywhere near Utah, but if I did, being able to ski into a distillery would be pretty awesome. But let's get into this thing and see what the nose has to offer. Now this bottle has been open, I would say a couple months. Trying to really let it get some air. At first, it was very, very rye forward. So let's see if that has changed at all over time. No, definitely not. If anything, it's got even more rye forward on the nose. So you got kind of some green tea, licorice, lots of minty notes, some peppermint and some spearmint in there. Almost like a spearmint gum, like wintergreen. Some peppery notes for sure. Maybe some anise, some clove, a little bit of allspice, which is, of course, those things are in allspice. Maybe just the slightest of raspberry or strawberry notes in there. And of course, you're getting lots of char notes from the barrel. Kind of a sour oak, I would say. Not quite a toasty oak note. And a little bit of a hay note. It smells young, honestly, which it is. It's 2 years old. Mostly, anyway. Yeah, so not a bad nose, but very, very rye forward. So this is certainly for people that really like rye. I assume that the palate will be the same. Let's get into it. So although you can taste the youth, it is fairly interesting. There's quite a bit going on there. So you get your kind of somewhat typical bourbon notes. You get some caramel in there, a little bit of brown sugar, lots of your charred notes from the barrel. There's kind of that sour oak note. But then the rye notes really take over here, and you definitely get some like peppermint, some spearmint. There is a licorice note there that I don't really care for. It's kind of that black licorice note, but there is also kind of that green tea note in there that you smell on the nose. And then also you're getting kind of that clove note as well. There's a little bit of a rye bread aspect also. So it's a fairly full palate so far. Let's go in for a second sip and see what else we can get. Yeah, so it kind of starts with a sweet spearmint note, and then it's kind of the licorice note on the mid palate, unfortunately. Well, for me, if you like licorice, then great. There is a little bit of barrel note in there as well with that. And then as it goes into the finish, that's when that kind of clove note really shows up, as well as some pepper and a little bit of cinnamon spice. So I can't say that it's necessarily bad. It's not my favorite profile, as I mentioned. I really don't like the licorice note that I find in some ryes. I know some people like that more than others. It's not my favorite. But with all that said, I think given this is a younger rye, I think they've done a pretty nice job with it. It is a pretty well-rounded palate, quite a bit going on there for a young rye. So as far as a rating goes, I'm going to go just a solid 7. Nothing phenomenal, and I think if the licorice note were not there and it was replaced with something else, I would probably rate it a little higher. But I do like what High West is doing. I've had a lot of their products that I enjoy, so I hope in the future that what they're putting out, their own distillery, becomes more and more interesting, and we're going to look forward to that. But folks, if you have enjoyed this review, then please hit that like button. I hope it's been helpful. And also, if you want to see more reviews from me, then you can click right here for more reviews. And if you're really enjoying the channel, you can subscribe right here. Until next time, folks, just remember, you can never have too much good whiskey.